Hey guys, welcome back to Jeremy May Fishing. I hope you guys have enjoyed the past couple of videos, and I apologize if those videos were kind of amateur, but I am an amateur unfortunately, but I'm working to get better on it. So anyhow, this weekend I got a 2-day tournament. It is a John boat tournament, so I will not be packing my big boat. I will be packing the 14-foot tracker and trying to consolidate with space. So with that said, my main goal objective this weekend would be to go ahead and try to find some bedding fish or transition fish, or even some pre-spawn fish somewhere. So anyhow, with that said, I'm pretty much making my decision based off of what's happened this week. This week we've had a lot of rain. I mean, a lot of rain, and the temperatures, been going between the 40s and 60s. It's just been like a roller coaster. So it's been very hard to put a plan together of whatnot. So it's going to be a crapshoot tomorrow. I mean, the areas that I really want to fish, they're probably going to be blown out from the swamp water intrusion. So I don't know how effective the really shallow water is going to be. But I do know, for one thing, when the water starts rising like that, those fish move away up in the skinny water, and that's gonna be my goal. But anyhow, what I do normally in this situation is usually any tournament, I assess to where I'm going, and then I go ahead and base that on the plan that I put together as far as the rods, reels, the equipment that I want to go ahead and put in the boat. So what I do is I take one of these little Plano boxes right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these or not. They have the rubber seal on them, so when you shut them tight, they're waterproof. You can throw them in water and they'll float, and no water will get in here. By having a John boat, John boats sometimes leak occasionally, and you get water in there and it won't flood out your boxes. But anyhow, so what I do is I'll go ahead and I'll gather me a couple of light and dark chatterbaits with chrome, silver, blades. I'll have those in one compartment. The second compartment, I'll throw a couple spinner baits, the same type of, white chartreuse, white chartreuse with Colorado blades, and go from there. So even the painted blades have been a new thing for me this past couple years. They really picked up, so I've learned and I've built some confidence in them too. So that's the biggest thing. Anyhow, the third compartment, what I like to do is I like to put some jigs in here. And some flipping and pitching gear, some 4/0 hooks, some 3/8 flipping out tungsten. And by the way, if you guys not have seen those the tungsten Titan tungsten weights, I would highly recommend checking them out. If you need a promotional code or whatever, let me know. I can save you guys a few bucks. But they have some awesome flipping weights. They have some awesome tungsten, some killer drop shot weights. But anyhow, check them out, Titan tungsten. But anyhow, back to the box. What I was doing here is you got chatterbaits, I got my spinner baits, my flipping gear, or flipping stuff, and then I go ahead and put in my square bills. I'll have really shallow 1 to 3s, and then 3 to 5 range, just in case those fish aren't on the beds, but they're transitioning and they're traveling off the bank a little bit. I like to throw in the darker, muddy water, stained water or whatnot. I'll throw some reds, some chartreuses, and even a little bit of chrome, depending on the light conditions or whatnot. So pretty much, I'm just gonna prepare for the worst case scenarios. I'm gonna go in there, just try to figure it out as I get on the water. That's one thing about tournament fishing, is you have to be able to adapt to everyday situations. You might have a cold front, you might have rain, you might have post front conditions. There's no telling what could happen. No wind and a rainy day, that just makes things terrible. So anyhow, so that's what I do with the box. It works really well with me, so I don't have to be rummaging through my stuff. Then what I do after that, then I go ahead and prepare. I take some probably a handful of plastics. I'll take some shaky heads. I'll take some Senkos, some flip creature baits. And personally, I like to stick with the basic, the natural colors of the crawfish. So, this time of the year, the crawfish are coming out of almost hibernation, trying to get up, they're looking for food, they're foraging. So right now, they're more of a kind of like a dark green, blackish color to them because they've been buried in the mud. So anyhow, I'll prepare my plastics and go from there. So another couple things I'll make sure I'll have me some gloves, some good waterproof gloves I can still fish with. As far as gear goes, I like to go ahead and I don't like to really bring all my rods. I'll bring, I'll go to my rod selections, and then I'll find maybe 4 or 5 rods that I love to throw as far as, this time of the year. So I like to stick to my meat and potato sticks with some, some 17 to 20 pound fluoro Sunline with some high-speed reels for flipping. Then I go to my my 7.3 cranking rod for my square bills. So actually, I'm sorry, it's gonna be a medium 7.3 with a 6.4 to 1 ratio. I usually pair that with 12 to 14 pound Sunline as well. And usually the finesse rods, I'll leave those. I might bring one finesse rod, with maybe just a small little 4-inch Senko wacky style. So if I do run up on a bed, I can actually just, quietly bump that past the bed and kind of work it to the bed so I don't spook that fish. So, down to the boat fundamentals here, what I like to do is go through the boat with a fine-tooth comb before every tournament. I just inspect everything, make sure I don't have any line on my prop, make sure my trolling motor is tight, making sure I don't have any string wrapped around the blades. Just check for any loose connections. Just, a 5 to 10 minute run through, just to make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. Knowing that it's supposed to rain tomorrow, the bilge pump is key, okay? Let me tell you that. The bilge pump is important, okay? You don't have a bilge pump and you get a lot of rain while you're on the water, you're going to be breaking out the bucket or dumping out baits or something to try to get that water out of there. So I would highly recommend you, replace it, inspect it, something. So what I did here is I pulled it up to the water hose, and I went ahead and actually, I wanted to see how fast it was moving out, and it was just spitting out lightly. So apparently it had sucked up some trash. So I went ahead and took it apart. Luckily I did, because there was all kinds of crap in that thing. I mean, it was fishing line wrapped around it. There was, old tail from baits. I mean, there was a lot of garbage in it. So I cleaned it out, and it's working like it's supposed to. So, the bilge pump is the #1 priority on a boat, period. Besides the motors getting you to and from. But anyhow, yeah, just stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll keep everybody posted Saturday and Sunday with the results, and wish me luck. Thanks.